Looking at the Hacapolita Nokian tires. These are really dirty because it's on the mountain right now and it's all mud and dirt and snow. Lots of snow yet, and it's almost the middle of April already, and it's still a lot of snow. There's chunks of it, but it's not everywhere. It's just, chunks beside the road and stuff, big snow banks. But these tires that I found out when I was looking at them are made in Russia, which sucks because Russians, if you've ever seen a car made in Russia, yeah, you know what I mean. This is not good quality tires I thought it would be. I thought they were made in Finland is what they advertised online, although they're tested in Finland too. But these are made in Russia, so that sucks. I've had at least 5 times I've had flat tires of these already this winter without any real reason to have a flat tire. They just go flat overnight, and you gotta be putting a lot of fix-a-flat back in them to get them back up. And these are brand new tires, brand spanking new tires, and there's no nails in them or anything. I just, in fact, 2 days ago took them back down to the tire place and had them check them over, and they couldn't find anything wrong with them. But it really sucks when you're out in the middle of winter and you wake up in the morning, you get a flat tire sitting there. You're like, what in the freaking heck? These are brand new tires, so I'll never buy these again. I like the traction, but I won't buy them if they're made in Russia. If they're made in Finland or somewhere else, I'll buy them, but I'm not going to buy these. So the traction is excellent, though. The design of the traction is great, but it does really good in the snow. But you'll eventually have a flat tire, and you're going to be out in the cold trying to fix it. And that really sucks when it's like 20 below zero. I mean, that really, really sucks. So the type of rubber or whatever material they use in Russia is not good quality. So, yeah, that's my advice for this tire. I will never buy it again. I'll go buy a different brand, and I'll make sure I read on the tire where it's made. If it's made in China, I will not buy it. If it's made in Russia, I will not buy it. If it's made in some other foreign country that I don't even know about that ever made anything, I won't buy it. It's going to have to be a Germany, France, United States, Canada, some of those places that actually know how to make tires. Italy makes good tires. Okay, this is the same mountain road we were on in my other video, and as you can see, it's rutted and it's got rocks and it's potholed and everything. One thing I noticed about a BMW 325xi is the shocks and the suspension and the everything's actually kind of made cheap. I mean, if I really start hitting these bumps, because this car is supposed to be made, if it hits a bump on the highway, it's not supposed to really do anything major to it, and I had another video on this phone, and it was like, it was supposed to catch all the nice ice and everything that was on the road. There was some, just patches of ice and snow, and it was kind of like really rough with the the slippery conditions, and then you get into the snow and it was ice and snow. But that video accidentally got erased, so this is my other next video here for making a video on what's on the road. And see, and the car is low enough that if there's any rock that's big enough, it'll hit the bottom of the car, which is that can happen on any car. But Yeah, so that was a rock hitting the bottom of the car back there. And but going down this road, this is actually smooth compared to the other parts of the road where it's really, really rough. I mean, potholes and washboard and you name it. And of course, living out here in the Northwest, half the roads are not paved. They're all dirt or gravel roads, and gravel generally turns into really washboard type road because it's traveled a lot and you know, from the traffic, and gets really washboardy and you'll be jarring your teeth out. Now there's certain shocks out there that'll actually make a smoother ride off-road and handle things a lot better. In fact, it'll wear a lot longer too and save your car. Because as you can see, this road here, this is generally what people drive every day. I mean, it looks like one lane, and it is basically, but 2 cars can fit on it. You just got to slow down and let the other car pass. But it's it's bumpy in here even, so you know there's quite a bit of roads like this. It's, you know, and I can't imagine that Germany has every road, you know, paved and stuff. So when they build a car, they should build it so it can withstand these type of roads daily use, because that's what I drive every day, is these kind of roads. I mean, you know, it's 7 miles, 14 miles a day just going one way on these types of roads. My road's a little different. It's just as good as this road. In fact, it's not even anything better. And I like this road here because it's the true challenge of putting a vehicle to its test, because it has everything. You know, mud, you got really deep potholes, and you got some roots going down the road, and lots of rock falling in the road. So you're giving everything a test on this road, you know, in the spring and summer. And this is the first test for this road, in fact, without snow being on it. So, and it's actually a test now, because, you know, and who knows, I might blow one of these tires, because these tires are not made with good quality rubber. I might blow a tire out and be changing a tire. Because, I mean, that's pretty bad when you're not even hitting anything sharp in the wintertime, and you get home and it's 20 below zero. Go in the house and you come out and you got 2 flat tires on the car, and you're like, what in the heck, you know? And you're thinking, well, maybe I ran over something. But you pump them back up and you take them down to the tire place, and they're like, I don't see anything wrong with them. There's no nails or anything in them. And then you're like, oh, freaking crying out loud, you know? That's ridiculous. So certain rubber, if it's not good quality, will actually shrink when it really gets cold, and it will cause a air leak in the tire along the seam, and it will deflate. It'll even just be a hairline crack, but it'll deflate overnight. And some tires do that, and you know, so buying a good quality tire, if you're going to be surviving out in the wilderness and, you know, living out in the Rocky Mountains or someplace wherever you're at. In fact, even down there in the Midwest, it gets really super cold, even a lot of ice and stuff, and, you know, you don't want to be stuck out and changing a tire and that stuff. I mean, that's horrible. But in general, these tires are exceptionally good as traction-wise. That's why I have mixed feelings about these tires. They are extremely good on snow and ice. It's just the quality of the tire itself. So that's the only thing I was getting at. And other than that, the tire is awesome. It's the grip, the tread, I mean, everything is really good. The studs, even the studs, wear really well. So they're lasting, and so I am using them for a second winter now. This video has been down because I had to get everything restored from my drive, and that's why it's taken 11 months to get it back up. So I just, through the summer, was so busy, and so I'll start putting more videos up on the BMW. And but this is just one of those things that with we find these little flaws in these things, like quality of tires or quality of the car or shocks or whatever, and then we just post it, and hopefully the companies will listen and maybe they'll make them a little better. But as far as the traction is, it was awesome. If it was to the point where I had to buy these again, it's questionable, but I might buy them again. But if they were made in a different place, besides Russia, I would buy them if they were made in some other country, but not in China. So this is just one of those things I want to go over. The other thing I would like to go over on the mods that I've been doing to this BMW, I changed out the front bearings, lower control arm, tie rods, some other bushings and assorted stuff, and now I'm changing out the water pump. And I will try to get some video of that, which I'm going to try to get up. So, and there is a few other mods I'm going to be doing to the car just to make it easier to work on, and then I'll start getting into taking the plastic out of the BMW. And that's the mods that I'm going to start doing this next spring coming up. Might start doing it maybe in February, March of 2019, and I'll try to get that on video. That I want to get as much plastic out of this BMW as possible, because plastic breaks, and everything that's plastic on any car that I've ever had always breaks. So I will go over some areas where some things have broke on my BMW, and it wasn't even by force. It was just simple little stuff like brushing the snow off the grill, and then 3 of the fins break off and just brittle from the cold. Garbage like that. And then, although I did order replacements for the grill, which were plastic also, but they're thicker. A little bit thicker. They're not as thin. They're thicker. They're like 4 times as thick. But I still want to get rid of the plastic, so I'm going to be looking for aftermarket metal stuff. Like, I want a metal grill. If it's aluminum or steel, some kind of metal, but I'm not going to have plastic on the grill. It just looks fake. It looks horrible. So that's one of the mods I'll be doing to the BMW. And I will be still going in and modifying the ECU and the control module, and get a lot of that garbage out of there, turn off a lot of stuff that I don't want, and then I'll probably add some more lighting inside and little things like that, and then get this car at least decent looking, and get rid of the plastic, everything on the outside, that plastic trim stuff, and everything plastic's going to go on the outside. So that is all going to be done, and hopefully I'll have it done by sometime in the summer, but I'll try to get that on video. There's just lots of little other things I'd like to do to the car. For some reason, the back hatch has been rattling now, probably because of the bumps on the road, of course, but it's something that needs to be, I'm thinking that when I tighten that latch area down where it latches together, I'm going to use epoxy and make sure it never moves again. So I'll use some really strong epoxy, and when I bolt it back down, it'll never, ever, ever come loose again. So, because that's a pain. You're trying to get, you get mentally fatigued listening to the back door rattle around, and that happens on a lot of cars, even Subarus and a lot of other cars as well. You can torque those things until you're blue in the face, until you almost break the bolt off, but it still is going to move, and there's just nothing there to really hold it. So you got to epoxy it, and I'll be doing that as well and getting that on video. So there's some mods coming up, and eventually I'll have the whole interior plastic free. Maybe the dash is going to be the hardest, because that is going to have to be molded, hand molded, something somewhere. Someone's going to have to make it for me, and because I don't have the tools to do that. But everything else, I'm going to try to do myself, and we'll see how that goes. And the seats will be reupholstered with real leather, not plastic leather, but real leather. So if I'm going to keep this car and use it for cruising across country and not really turn it into a rally car, which I was thinking of doing, but it's just going to cost too much because everything is just so flimsy on this car. Everything bends and breaks real easy. It's just not set for off-road. And I just don't see this car being a rally car, and it's an automatic, and you can't use automatics in rally cars. So I'm really not going to turn it into a rally car. I've decided it's not going to work. I have to get a manual. So automatics just will not do it. I've had so many problems with the safety thing kicking on in the transmission. You start spinning out and the thing goes into safety mode. So it's just a pain in the ass, because then you got to turn the car off, wait about 20 seconds, turn the car back on, and then you can go. And it resets the safety mode in the transmission. So I'm really looking, or they call it limp mode, I should say. Limp mode, which basically is safety mode because it's trying to save the transmission. And if they are just going to have that problems with automatics, I will never buy an automatic again. So it's just down to that area. I just think that there's some other cool mods I'll do to the car. And it's just going to be a cruising car. I might take it. I'm still going to take it up in the mountains and go skiing and snowmobiling and whatever else I want to do. I'm just not going to rad rod it like I'm doing now. So, and I'll take a little bit more care of it to make sure it lasts. Because if I'm going to put that much money into it, which is, granted, $4,000 or $5,000 here and there, then I don't want to be trashing it and have to keep replacing these parts. Because only one winter I've already had to put, it's going to be coming close to $3,000 worth of parts in this car already. And I don't want to put any more shocks and all that stuff back in there, because now I'm putting shocks in it again, and it's just, these things are not really, really good quality, and I'm just not impressed with the off-road end of it. But you can at least use it off-road if you need to, and generally BMW needs, if someone's going to go with it, I would probably get an SUV BMW, or at least a stick that's full drive, something. And because those transmissions are beefier, they can handle more. And then if you want to throw a turbo in there or something, the transmission won't blow up on you that easily. You're not jumping that much horsepower into it. If you throw a couple hundred more into it, it might. But I've seen it happen on Subarus and Mighty Car Mods. They've blown up Subaru transmissions by putting too much horsepower in them. So it can happen. But it's just, not a rally car. It's not going to have to be a rally car. But I'm going to have fun with it, and I'm going to do some cool mods. And so we got some cool stuff coming up, and I think in the next couple months it's going to be kind of fun to play with and see what I can do with it. And if you check out my other videos, I have some ideas on $1 million ideas, or ideas that'll make you a lot of money. Is actually taking the plastic out of cars and putting metal stuff in. So I added a video on that, and that will be up as well, so you can check that out on my channel. And yes, my channel's kind of gone a whole bunch of different directions because I've got a lot of stuff I want to try to get out there, but ideas and whatever else. But there's things that I just feel is kind of important that could help. And as far as the BMW, it's for fun. So, and everything usually about custom cars is just for fun and our own entertainment. And making things better, or finding what works and what don't work, and making them faster. And so, well, this one's not going to be going any faster. I can see that already. So, I've already pushed it probably to its max many times, and I don't think I want to do it again. too many times because I was starting to. I've already had to replace a valve cover gasket and a couple other things that are just, trying to put a little bit higher octane gas in it, and it starts getting a little bit warm, and all these other things. It's just not built for that. And so I need to just kind of take it easy on this poor car and see if it'll, I can deck it out a little bit, pimp it out, or deck it out, whatever you want to call it, and we'll get it looking good. So we'll make this car feel and look like a BMW, the way they should have made it, the way that should have came from the factory. Because BMW needs to get away from the plastic. They need to have good quality cars that they're standing behind, and if they have a good reputation for being a good quality car, like Mercedes needs to do the same thing, and Audi and all those German companies need to get away from plastic, and Italian cars and all those McLarens, and everybody needs to get away from plastic. Because you touch plastic, it feels fake, it feels it's not impressive. It's, and plus it's putting off toxic fumes when it gets heated up in the sun, and so we're breathing these toxic fumes. Plus there's toxins in the chemicals in the plastic that's getting all that little bit of oil's getting on your fingers and in your skin, and you're surrounded by toxins in a car. So to eliminate that, you have to go with good quality stuff. And BMW and Mercedes and Audi and Volkswagen need to do that. They need to get away from plastic completely. Metal is lighter than the plastic. Half of the weight of my Subaru was plastic. Then when it burned up, it weighed half as much. So that's how much plastic are being put in these cars. And metal is actually sometimes lighter. They can make aircraft aluminum parts and make it really super light. It can be metal. It's just aircraft aluminum. Aircraft aluminum for dashes, door panels, whatever else. And it's strong and it's light. There's no reason to put plastic in a car. They need to get rid of that crap. And if BMW is listening, that's what they need to do. And the guy that's saying put plastic in the car, you need to fire him. Fire the president or the vice president or the engineers, whoever you need to fire, and get people in there that care about the quality of the car. And you're going to say, this looks and feels like a real expensive car. Right now, BMW, I sit in my car and I feel like I'm in a cheap plastic Subaru. I sit in my BMW and I feel like I'm in a cheap plastic Yugo. These things are not, you don't feel the high quality of a BMW. You sit in it and you're looking around, everything's plastic, it smells plastic, it's just plastic. There's no feel about it that makes you feel great. It's nothing like you sit in an old classic that's 95% metal, and you sit in those things and you're like, wow, this thing feels and it looks like it's quality. And I can tell you, plastic is not impressive. It's not. Are you going to give your wife a plastic ring for an engagement ring or a wedding ring? She's not going to be impressed. She's going to say, I want metal, gold, silver, platinum, whatever. But she's not going to take plastic for a ring. It's the same with us in cars. Why should we want to go pay $50,000 for a plastic car? I don't want a plastic car for $50,000. It cost them $2,000 to build that car out of plastic, and they're trying to sell it to me for $50,000 when it's going to break in 3 or 4 years. Its parts are going to fall off and turn to dust in the sun and the cold, and it's not going to work for me anymore. I'm not going to buy any more newer cars. I'm not buying it unless I find an older one that I can work with and make it better, or a newer one if it's got all the crap plastic out of it. If they do go to metal, I'll buy a new one, of course, but this plastic thing is not going to work. It's cheap, it's toxic when it burns. It burns fast, it burns hot, it is just horrible, really. It's not anything I want to deal with. I don't want anything plastic. And I believe in plastic-free everything, including our houses. But because I'm getting to that point where I'm tired of cheap crap. And that's what we're getting. We're getting cheap crap. Flimsy, cheap crap. And it's a fake world, fake this, fake that, fake plastic that looks like chrome, or we're just getting fed with plastic leather. Really? I mean, you're going to try to pass it off as leather when you're sitting on it and it feels like plastic? It's not going to happen. I'm just going to get rid of everything plastic in the car. So we'll have a whole bunch of videos doing that. And it'll be a fun project. So if you stay tuned and subscribe and all the good stuff, I don't know why you want to subscribe. People don't need to subscribe to my channel because I don't care if they do or not anyway. But if you just stay tuned, you'll see some cool stuff coming up. Thank you.